Joining me now on the Daily Ledger Page 5 beat from Ojai, California, economic analyst, hedge fund manager, and contributor to Forbes and other publications, Thomas Landstreet. Tom, her plan is a joke. It's a fiscal joke, no matter what the numbers she comes out juggling. It reminds me of the joke my mother used to tell of Christopher Columbus aboard the Santa Maria and announcing to the crew, hey, y'all are going to get new underwear. And he proceeds to say, Peter, you exchanged with Paul. Paul, you exchanged with Robert. There's your new underwear. This is what this is. This is massive redistribution of dirty underwear.
Well, it's also, Graham, very misleading because what she's calling for, which is free health care, is actually Medicaid for all. When you think about it, Medicare is a paid-in system, 100% paid in. You and I and every worker pays into the Medicare system during your whole life. What she's calling for is something quite different. By the way, she could never use the word Medicaid because it's a disaster economically, and it's also polls poorly. It's not popular. So obviously she's got to put lipstick on a pig. So where's she going to find the money with a $24 billion deficit, $1 trillion annual deficit, and Social Security's bleeding over $1 trillion a year more in outflows than we have in inflows. So good luck finding the money without carving it out of the muscle of the economy.
Speaking of finding the money, we have a problem that we can't highlight enough on this program because I don't hear a lot of people talking about it, and it's liquidity problem for the banking system right now. And some of this, Tom, is because of the regulations, I believe, that have been imposed over the years, especially with Dodd-Frank. It's creating all these reserve requirements for the banks that maybe they can't meet.
Well, that's true. Some of that is to blame, and I'm sure that they could probably revise those, or I assume they could revise those. But let this sink in, Graham. After record liquidity injections from the Federal Reserve, QE 1, 2, and 3, trillions of dollars of purchases of both mortgage-backed securities, treasury bonds. So after record liquidity injections, we have a liquidity crisis. So since the Fed embarked on these historic quantitative easing programs, all we've done is gorge on debt, and you know we've talked about it. So, by the way, credit, you might have seen where we've had a record issuance of what they call covenant-light loans. Think 120% loan to value on a home, or maybe no doc loans back in the housing crisis. All we've done is gorge on debt, Graham.
Right.
That's a bigger, I think, villain here than just Dodd-Frank. We really are in a pickle.
Artificially low interest rates, I think, is also a factor in all of this. And when the money supply dries up, if it does dry up, the economy grinds to a halt. That's what we're looking at, and that's why this is so important. Thomas, thank you.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube. And call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.